Hello, team. This is Dr. Miranda. I want us to have a conversation around the issue of HR structure, and this is, of course, for the Issues in International Business course. There are several dynamics that we need to understand whenever we are dealing with HR or human resources. Okay. Now, HR is it's very complex. Okay. For example, here predominantly in the United States of America. Our HR departments, they need to deal with local laws, state laws, and federal laws. Okay, they need to be in complete alignment with the labor policies. Okay, of its again localities, regions, states, and federal government. Now add to that, you have the complexities of an alignment between HR, Human Resources Department, and the overall strategy and core competencies of the business. All of that are, again, a tremendous amount of complexities, right? But these are things that every business leader needs to be aware of, particularly those who are involved in design of business and the implementation of business, and many times the overhaul of a business. HR isn't simply there to sign people up, so to speak, okay, to give them a little bit of introduction to the company. But HR structure is at the very heart of a successful business organization, of a successful business implementation, of a successful business execution, as well as a successful business expansion. All of those things have to all come together when it comes to domestic HR. Now, in this course, we are basically looking at a HR structure that is focused on the international arena, mainly a foreign expansion of the company. Now, take the complexities of the HR in the headquarters, right, where your company is based in the US. It has its own structure, right? It has its own guidelines, its own policies, its own implementation agendas, right? Now, think about your expansion. And there are a few questions that you're going to have to take into consideration. Again, HR has a deep level of complexity, particularly here in the United States. Now, take it abroad, and you're going to face more complexity. There are many challenges which you're going to face internationally. First of all, we're dealing with a completely different culture. It's a different culture. The way of doing business is going to be different. The way hiring is done is different. The way employee training is done is different. The way the employees react with the HR departments, the executives are different. The way the management interacts with the employees, those are all very different. The way that the business responds, let's say, to regulatory needs or regulatory requirements of the localities of the different states, of respective federal guidelines of the host countries, they all are different. Now, your company can be a failure if it simply wants to do a cookie cutter approach from your US based HR to the host country, right, where your foreign expansion will be based on. Now, it can be a success. And how can it be a success? Well, there's a few guidelines that we have to be, of course, cognizant of. Now, these particular dynamics are applicable both on the domestic and international HR. Okay, they both can speak to those two different realities, but there is a significant difference between local HR, national HR, and international HR. Namely, I already mentioned, the different cultures, the different requirements, the different labor laws. Okay, And then later I'll come back and just explain something from a personal or a professional experience in dealing with HR on the international field. I want us to take a look at certain dynamics that come at play as far as your HR structure is concerned. And these are some questions that I want you to take into account as you deal with HR, both domestically and internationally. Business alignment. Is your HR structure and target operating model, the TOM, aligned to overall organization structure in business? Again, is there a true alignment between your national and international HR structure to the business? You see, often I like this saying. I don't know. It may have come from um, Greek drama or not, but usually beasts with two heads don't exist for too long. Okay. Um, but let's talk about business alignment. There has to be a complete business alignment between your business, the strategies of the business, the scope of the business, okay, the operations of the business, the goals of the business, the core competencies of the business, and your HR structure. Because when there is an alignment between the HR structure and the business, things will move very smoothly. Now, we have companies that only have one product, okay? And usually then the HR alignment and the business alignment are very fluid, very, you know, virtually trouble-free. Now, when you have a multiple products, let's say like Procter and Gamble, right? So companies like that and other companies have established a matrix hierarchy, a matrix structure to deal with diverse products. Okay. Now, is your HR structure internationally and nationally, are they aligned to your business? Okay. There has to be a full alignment. Flexibility and agility. Is the HR structure, the policies and processes, flexible and agile to respond to dynamically changing business scenarios? This is where it pays to do the homework and to have HR professionals who understand the fluidity of the business, right? Often HR is segregated somewhere like an ugly stepchild into some, smoky ballroom out there, or maybe just nice little closet somewhere in the company, and there's very little communication, very little strategy. When they have business strategic meetings, they do not bring the HR directors or executives in. Okay, this is where the HR department has to be fully cognizant of what is happening. And an HR professional or an executive that understands the power of the HR structure brings in, takes the effort, is very proactive in bringing in those HR professionals into the strategy meetings that allows the HR executive to be fully cognizant of the changes within the company, particularly when it comes to the company's products. But another thing also is that the HR professional has to be proactive. How? They have to understand the rules and the regulations when it comes to labor laws. They have to understand how these regulations and these labor laws will affect the staff, will affect the company's human resources. And the business can either thrive from those regulatory changes or the business can go under, okay? Because not only nationally, but internationally, there are severe penalties, severe fines that can hamper a company's growth, or it could bring it under. Okay, the case with Barron's Bank, a major regulatory issue happened where the bank, 200 and something years in the making, was out of business within a single week or so. Now, user-friendly systems, policies, and processes. Are your HR policies, processes, systems, and tools, okay, employee and business friendly, right? So sometimes HR gets into the position where their resources when it comes to internal processes are so convoluted that it's not user friendly, it's not employee friendly. The employees really don't know the rights that they have. The employees really don't know about the particular policies concerning several things that they don't know. The employees are clueless sometimes about their benefits. Um, and the employees also get very frustrated when there is a non-responsive, non-employee friendly HR. Now, I worked in a company that its HR department was very anti-employee. Okay. They treated us like we were part of a union. We weren't a unionized company at all. Okay. But they treated us like we were enemies, like we were, coming against them somehow. And it was a very, very unfriendly, unfruitful, unprofessional environment that really added a lot of tension that did not have to be there. Okay. Now, competence and capable HR team. Do you have HR professionals with right competencies and capabilities to connect with employees and contribute to business and stakeholders? Again, there has to be competency in the HR department. I can't just tell you the horror stories I have come across of incompetent HR executives. Again, they must be cognizant of the labor laws. They must be cognizant of cultural differences. They must be cognizant of how the business is doing, where the business is going. They must be aware of the employees that they have, the type of talent that they have at hand. They must be also very cognizant of how the business can strategically place those human resources so the business can expand, the business can thrive, and the employees can be happy, can be motivated, have a sense of fulfillment. Nothing more frustrating than having incompetence in an HR department that doesn't know what the business is doing, doesn't know how the employees are feeling about the operation, and is clueless about the regulation and the labor laws of their respective markets. Excuse me. Now, is your HR team able to build and nurture positive and proactive employee relations? Okay, again, there has to be a dynamism between the employee, the business structure, the executive team, and the HR team. Again, have a reactionary HR team internationally or nationally, it's a non-starter. It'll destroy your company. It'll destroy the company's morale in terms of employee. You will promote higher turnover, and all of us understand the price, excuse me, that there is attached to hiring, onboarding, training of employees, as well as offboarding of employees. We all understand the danger to the company of disgruntled employees. We understand the danger and to morale and to productivity of employees who are simply demoralized because why? There is not a proactive HR department. Now, some have said that we don't want a strong HR department. I disagree. We want a strong and very proactive and very positive HR department that works together with the management, with the executives, and with the management on the floor, okay, to better manage the human resources that we have. And always remember, whether your HR it's for international expansion or for national consumption, your HR department is an integral part of what you are doing. So take some time to look at your HR structure, especially if you have designs to expand internationally. Make sure that you are hiring the best. Make sure that you are hiring people, either local people in the area, or you want to bring people from your country. I'd say it's always a good combination of both. You want to have a a linkage, a liaison, a person that will be the go-between who will help to develop the HR structure in the host country. But it's also good to have an HR director in the home country on the target country where your expansion is taking place, because that person will understand the diverse dynamics at play in the host country. We have a better understanding than someone from the home country. And what you want to do is you want a healthy relationship of communication and training between the two HR executives and leaders, where it gets to the point where the foreign HR leader is already trained, and then you cut the umbilical cord, okay, and just let them shine. Okay, never be afraid to hire people abroad. You want to hire nationals who understand the culture. You want to hire nationals who understand the language. You want to hire nationals who understand how things are done in that particular country. But you also want to hire people from the home office, okay, to help establish, to help get the ball rolling. Okay. So in terms of HR structure, whether it is internationally or nationally, there are several issues. There are several dynamics. We have discussed some of them. Um, anyways, so thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.